Hi, I'm Brian. Kettle's on, make yourself a cup of tea. Today I want to talk about the news that Disney have announced a sequel to the live action Lion King movie. Now, this was announced yesterday, and I'm reading the article on Variety, which says the Lion King follow up is in the works with director Barry Jenkins. Disney is returning to the Pride Lands for a follow up to The Lion King. Barry Jenkins, the filmmaker behind Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk, will direct the upcoming feature based on the beloved family classic. Helping my sister raise two young boys during the 90s, I grew up with these characters, Jenkins said. Having the opportunity to work with Disney on expanding the magnificent tale of friendship, love and legacy, while furthering my work chronicling the lives and souls of folk within the African diaspora is a dream come true. The movie will be a continuation of the studio's 2019 photorealistic remake rather than the 1994 cartoon. Jon Favreau directed the recent reboot to mixed reviews but massive box office receipts. It generated over $1.5 billion at the global box office. Disney hasn't announced a release date for the sequel. With the pandemic and Jenkins' busy schedule, it's also unclear when the special effects heavy production will start. Sources say the new movie will partly focus on the early years of Mufasa, the regal father of Simba, whose death forms the emotional heart of the first film and its remake. Jeff Nathanson, who wrote the screenplay for the 2019 movie, is returning to write the follow-up. The voice cast of the remake included the star-studded lineup of Donald Glover as Simba, Beyonce Knowles Carter as Nala, Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa, and James Earl Jones as Mufasa. Disney has yet to announce who, if any, from that group will be part of the sequel. Jenkins' partner director Lu Wang celebrated the news on Twitter with a nod to the film's iconic opening music. Disney has reimagined a number of its animated classics, including Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan and Dumbo. As previously announced, Aladdin is also getting a sequel following the commercial success of the live-action version. The first Lion King was heavily influenced by Shakespeare's Hamlet. Somehow, the bard never got round to writing a part 2 to the story of an indecisive Danish prince, so Disney may not be able to quib from the playwright this time round. The Lion King follow-up represents something of a departure for Jenkins, who is best known for sensitively drawn indie fare, not more commercially facing big studio productions. After winning an Oscar for Moonlight and being nominated for a screenplay prize for Beale Street, Jenkins has been heavily in demand. He recently completed work on The Underground Railroad, Amazon's limited series adaptation of Colson Whitehead's bestseller. Jenkins also plans to direct a biopic of cinematographer Alvin Ailey. So there we have it. Disney have announced a sequel to The Lion King. Now, I'm not going to comment on whether the live action remake of The Lion King was a good film or not. I have no right to. I've never seen it. It is a choice for myself, as I can't bring myself to watch it, as the 1994 animated version of The Lion King is my favourite film, and I just can't bear to watch the live action version of it in case it does anything to ruin that for me. And when I say it's my favourite, I do mean it's not just my favourite Disney movie, it is my favourite movie ever, so I don't want anything to taint that. That being said, I have seen both The Lion King 2 and 3. But let's get back on with this. There's a couple of parts I want to talk about this. It does say here that sources say the new movie will partly focus on the early years of Mufasa. Now, obviously, if this is a direct sequel to the 2019 Lion King, it's going to feature either a prologue at the start or some form of flashback through the film, because obviously Mufasa does die in the Lion King. But I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do for Mufasa's early years. I mean, I didn't realise there was a story that needed to be told there. Obviously, he was the firstborn male lion, which makes him leader of the pride. That's how it works in the Animal Kingdom with lions. So I don't know what story Disney are going to put there, whether it's going to be something that's going to be interesting. I will assume it will have something to do with Scar, or it could be something completely different. I don't know. So I've never watched The Lion King and wondered what happened to Mufasa when he was younger. It's not a story I realised needed to be told, but looking at this, Disney thinks it is a story that they can tell. The other part is this. The Lion King was heavily influenced by Shakespeare's Hamlet. Somehow the bard never got round to writing part 2 of the story of the indecisive Danish prince, so Disney may not be able to curb from the playwright this time round. Now, obviously, there was an animated film, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, which was heavily influenced on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. So going off this paragraph, it does sound like they won't be doing a direct remake of The Lion King 2, which I'm not going to lie won't be a bad thing. The Lion King 2 wasn't the greatest of sequels, but then again in the 90s when Disney was churning out direct to VHS sequels every year, none of them were really great. It was just a way for them to make some quick money. It's all the direct to VHS sequels were back in the day. But is this what this is doing now? Are we getting sequels? Obviously they won't be direct to VHS or DVD as it would be these days. Are we just going to be starting to get sequels to live action remakes which nobody really wanted in the first place? Because it does mention that Aladdin is getting a sequel, and obviously Maleficent got a sequel. And going forward, Disney are releasing numerous remakes of the classic cartoons, which nobody's asking for. And I'm not aware that anybody really wants to be, if I'm being honest. We want some new ideas from Disney. I mean, personally, I would love to see some new hand-drawn 2D animated films from Disney. Their last 2D animated film, Princess and the Frog, was a fantastic movie, and if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. Back to this, I mean, this was announced yesterday, so we don't know too many details about it, other than now Disney seems to be focusing on sequels to live action films. I mean, Disney don't have a great record with sequels, and I'm not sure they should really be doing it. Disney sequels, I can't think of any what's been better or even has been as good as the original one. Frozen 2 came out, and that wasn't anywhere near as good as the first Frozen. And all the direct sequels to VHS, obviously they were direct to VHS, so they weren't going to be putting the money in there. Could this be a turning point for Disney? Could this be where they start to turn the sequels around and improve on the groundwork which was laid by the originals? Should they be forging ahead making sequels? I mean, it's billed as a live action version of The Lion King, this remake, but it was just very heavily CGI'd to give photorealistic versions of the animals, what was in it. You can't have a live action film with lions, there will be accidents on set. I mean, I don't really know my feelings on this. Would it give me reason to go back and watch the live action version of The Lion King? It would probably depend on how the sequel trailers looked, if I'm being honest, on whether I thought it looked good enough to go back and watch. Because the people that have seen the film, which I've heard from, has just told me it's pretty much the same as the animated version of Lion King, but not as fun. And with the photorealistic versions of them, they couldn't bring the emotions through what they give the animated films, and I think that will have taken some of the magic out of the film. Obviously, the film was a success financially, despite getting mixed reviews from both audiences and critics. And I don't know what they're going to do for the sequel, how they're going to turn this around. Obviously, they have a chance here to do a brand new story, which hasn't been told, if they're not going to take the route of Simba's Pride, Lion King 2. It is essentially giving them a clean slate to work with, and hopefully they will be able to bring something new to the Lion King franchise. But let's be honest, they're not going to improve upon or come anywhere near the greatness of the 1994 animated version of Lion King. I mean, the film is almost perfection. It is amazing. I'm not going to go on about the Lion King animated film. I could do all day, but I won't. I will restrain myself. But what do you guys think about the news that Disney is making a sequel to the live action Lion King? Is it something you want to see? Is it something that you'll go see when it comes out? Or do you think Disney's making a potential mistake with this? Please do let me know in the comments below. And that's all from me. I'm off to make a fresh cup of tea.